all the gases that you have, all the wastes that you have. This thing goes deep, and it is real complex sometimes. That is exactly why I love it. Do I need anything? I almost forgot the most important component of this entire thing. A crucial component. A component without which this entire thing could not work. Is it the food? No. Is it the water? No. The oxygen? No. The nitrogen? We are fine for all these components. The stress? Whatever. No, no, no. It is something very simple. This is, after all, an emergency vessel, ladies and gentlemen. We need people to be able to recognize that this is an emergency vessel. So we need emergency lights. Lights off. Which means our light. If we have the light command, we toggle the lights and we also toggle the rotate. Phew! Almost would have ruined the entire mission. Now, we could have also done something like a hitchhiker storage. This stores 4 people, and again, much like the other thing, there's a treadmill in here, which, look at this. Stress, it's now cramped, living space because there's very little space, and the comfort is poor because there's no firm ground, no exercise. They are not alone because there's 3 of them in there. They can call home, but they have no panorama. So if you add this, the hitchhiker storage, see how that changes. It's still cramped, but the comfort is now modest because they can exercise. It's cramped because they have 4.63 meters of space compared to 1.36. They need more space to be comfortable. So when you make a space station, you need to make sure not just that there's a place for a Kerbal, but that there's room for the Kerbal. And that is what I love about this. You really need to start planning and expanding and making extra space just to keep them happy. We, by the way, have the launch escape system that we can use just for safety's sake. Which reminds me, we do want 3 ejection modules. Just in case things go bad, we want our Kerbals to be able to jump out at breakneck speeds. We have those things. We don't need a ladder for this. We have lights. We don't really need a harpoon. It will be fun, but we don't need one. There's no other signs that we can get in space. Possibilities, exactly. This is now called the EV or EV-01. Okay, it is called EV-01. Let's give it a nice little flag. I believe there is a rescue Kerbal flag. Rescue, there we go. Rescue and return, I guess that says. Ah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You'd be pretty upset if you have to stay in space inside of your computer chair for a week? Oh, no kidding. No kidding. I would be very frustrated. RCS. That's what I'm thinking. I kept thinking, like, what am I missing? Now, we won't need this, but again, backups, fail saves. Because remember, part of this life support mod, not the environment, the stress involves reliability and possible malfunctions. 1.52 malfunctions per year. So Jexus, again, if you build a large space station with a lot of parts and you don't put them high quality, even with high quality, there's going to be malfunctions. So you're going to need an engineer on hand to start fixing things in actual mission. And that is, I love that one, that concept as well. Let's see. I'm just going through these to see what else do I still need. What do I need to fix, change? I think structurally we're okay. Command and control. We're not going to put that in until we've added the monopropellant tanks. Does this block anything? No. So I put 2 monopropellant tanks right there. Fills up that space quite nicely. There's a little bit of a gap over there, but alright. And we then add RCS. And that RCS, we need 4 of them, roughly on the center of weight. But as we use more fuel, that center of weight is going to shift upwards. That's a little bit awkward. We're going to use... I'm going to move these to the middle here. So ideally, we put these in the middle of here and here. It means that we're going to pick up extra rotation when we start using this, but that's what we have. Wow, still, I would not be able to, I would still not be able to sit in this chair for a week. What are you doing, Dave? I can't do that, Dave. Although, hearing the word Dave, I keep thinking about, oh, Vanan, you know the show. Wasn't it also with a weird guy in some kind of tribal outfit that kept calling people Dave? Okay, I'm hoping this will do the job. Once we're in space, I'm sincerely hoping that this will do the job. Okay, enough staring at this. Let's add a decoupler. I think you can... Can you not disable the shroud here? Enable crossfeed, decoupler. Because I've seen people do something like this, which is pretty darn cool. Where you attach it like this, and then you can make a fairing directly connecting that. But you know what? The standard decoupler already does that. So we need to get this baby into a reasonable orbit. Does it have everything? It has RCS, it has power, it has backup, it has lights, it has Kerbal, engineer, it has the science we want. Okay. Let's work on getting this baby into space. Now I'm starting to think that this one, given its weight, might need more heavy-duty rocketry. Let's start using our first orange tank. Now, atmosphere-wise, that gets us 0.99 thruster weight on the atmosphere, on ground surface. So we need a greater than one thruster weight. So we're adding our fins and seeing if we can add, again, always the minimal amount of thrust. I doubt that this will help us, but we can always check. This would actually get us off the ground for 40 seconds, which would probably get us to 5 kilometers, at which point that engine actually has enough thrust. But it will never get to 4K, so let's see if we can just get the larger boosters. This again doesn't get us 4K, but you know what I wonder? Could this now potentially work on a Poodle engine? Now see, even in space, that does not have the thruster weight. Ah, that's it, Vaden. Yep. Hello, Dave. That's exactly the one I was thinking of. That one's so weird. What show is that again? Okay, so here's my worry. Oh, hold on. These are in the wrong order. There we go. So we now have... Oh, it doesn't exactly have 4K. Should be okay, actually. You don't need the full 4K to get in space. My concern is, though, we are now going to be risking a Kerbal life on... I don't think we'll need 4K. Which makes me a little bit concerned. But what's the worst that could happen? Oh, actually, we're gonna have fewer Kerbals in here. How does that affect our delta V? Not as much as I'd like. Actually, there we go. That should change things up a little bit. The League of Gentlemen, that's it, yes. Jackson remembers you once messed up your staging completely, fired all the rockets at the same time. You had far mod. I have that one as well right now. Thing went up so fast it exploded after a couple of seconds. Haha, nice. Oh yes, we still haven't strutted those. Thank you, Supreme Muffin. Maffy. I see the last name and I think muffins. Delicious. Except, you know, less like a creepy guy. Because if anyone loves muffins that much, that's a little bit scary. Muffins. Yeah. There we go. That'll be good. That'll keep them stable. Thank you. Okay. I think we're just gonna test. We're gonna see if this actually gets us up into space. We have our ejection modules. We have safety. Our abort ejects the crew. Shuts down all possible engines. Well, all the engines we can click on. Oh, hey, we can click that one. Shut down. Shut down all the engines. Maffy's your dog? Ah, what kind of dog is it? What race or breed? I don't know. What do you say? Breed, right, for dogs? What species is your dog? Okay. Let's get some structural in here. I think we're good. Let's double check because we've messed up enough times already. Okay, I think we're good. Let's save up and give EV1 a try. It's a collie. Ah, I love collies, little fur balls. Does your collie try to herd people as well? I knew somebody had a type of collie breed. I forget which one exactly. She got it from Ireland. But that dog wanted to herd everybody. If you weren't in a tight pack, that dog got real stressed. Also, what is up with you? Hold up. I don't like this. There. More general lighting. General lighting. Oh. Darn it. Literally, when I... Is it the shadow of my actual chair that's doing this? It looks like it's the shadow of the chair. If I turn this off? Worse, worse, way worse. Adjust the settings of the camera. Color intensity? I'm doing it. Contrast? Does that help us a little bit? Giant contrast. No, that does not do the trick. Okay. What could go wrong if we adjust the green screen in the middle? Oh my god, there's some cats fighting outside and they are not kidding around. There we go. It looks a little bit like it's eating away at my soul, but that's just streaming in general. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Heard, people, heard. OBS Chrome key needs a pre-key or garbage matte functionality. Yeah, it's also that this camera is really zoomed in. It's actually very widescreen, but I take this little bit. But then OBS, of course, enlarges the image. So for one, it's less clear. That's why you have this little, you know, the little unclearness there. And I'm pretty sure it's me not using it correctly as well. Okay. Quick saving in case the Kraken attacks us. Throttling up, which we don't need yet because we're using SRSBs. We need a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. We have cleared the tower. Quote unquote tower. We are liftoff. Everything looks a-okay. Accelerating upwards, trying not to have this thing jiggle too much. Interesting enough, the probe core was better at... Oi, this blew to the left for some reason. The probe core was better at SAS than our pilot Jedwin is, but then again, the probe core was a computer, so... We could probably have lowered the thrust on these babies. Thrust to weight is pretty darn high right now. Try not to adjust off course too much. Oh god, because that could be disastrous with the supersonic effects that we're experiencing. This is highly inefficient right now. Let's drop these things. We're a bit in danger right now because we could try to burn right to the side, but chances are that FAR will punish us heavily for doing so. I'm gonna try it anyway. There we go. Whew. This worked far better than I imagined it would. The only downside is we've spent so much delta V getting straight up. So this is actually very inefficient. Thanks that you just snorted hot coffee onto your naked flesh. Well, hello, sailor. Is that hot coffee over your flesh, or are you just happy to see me? Looks like you're trying to get an apartment building in the atmosphere. Actually, this is pretty small compared to, you know, quote-unquote real-size rockets. Okay, we're gonna need this thing to pitch up a little bit because our time to apoapsis is closing in, and we are nowhere near a proper orbit. There we go. We are holding that same time right now, and we are increasing that apoapsis. this might actually be working. I'm thoroughly surprised if this actually turns out to work. When you messed around with fire, you read some things that said about 20-degree angle almost right from the start will automatically result in a horizontal position about the right time. Yeah, Jaxus, that's right. The only downside is 20 degrees also gets you the longest atmospheric effects. So you need to balance your orbital turn with the atmospheric effects you expect to be dealing with. So it's tricky. It's tricky. Most launches actually are sort of parabolic. They go up a lot, but then quickly turn to 45 degrees and then slowly start going sideways. The problem with this one is our thruster weight was so high with the SRSBs that it was dangerous to do that gravity turn because we were already going supersonic. Our apartment buildings and then that's not already in the atmosphere. Well, I know that. Let me put it this way. I think we have a couple of tall hills in the Netherlands, and we're so proud of them, we call them mountains. So point about 20 degrees, don't steer anymore. Atmospheric pressure will take care of the rest, but the amount of change all that. Now, the 20 degrees from the start is far too shallow an angle from what I know. I think maybe what you've been reading was for space planes rather than rockets. Because for space planes, 20 degrees is very good. 500 meters per second, we should be able to get this baby into orbit. I mean, this was inefficient, but it did the job. Turn to turn at 10,000 is fine. Yeah, 10 kilometers is a good turn. You would hope that all apartment buildings are in the atmosphere? Yeah. I don't know though, some atmospheres, I kid you not, I received a, you know what? In a moment, I will read you a letter that I've received about this apartment building. There we go, we are in orbit. Give me a second. I present to you a letter from my housing corporation. Let's make sure that time doesn't advance for this for a while. Dear Mr. Byronic, they use my real name. Lately, we have been receiving complaints from residents. The complaints are about the... That's not really a word in English. Livability? Like, habitability of the flat. That is why we will implement a number of actions. Well, a container to throw your crap, because everybody keeps leaving it in the gallery. People keep feeding the pigeons, and that's why they formally call it a plague. They're giving me a free pigeon net just to remove pigeons from the balconies. Extra cleaning. There we go. Often there is post left in the central hallway. Okay. People are urinating in the elevator and leave trash bags on all floors. This does not increase the habitability. No kidding! People are urinating in the lift, for crying out loud. Byronic story time, indeed so. Top floors of the Patronus Towers. I think it's the antlers of the Patronus Towers that are sticking out. You gotta go, you gotta go. Well, you gotta go away from here. My God. So, this one, let's see. We want an encounter Now, we are going to be behind. Here's our problem. We're going to be behind Carrick's heap. So, if we want this encounter, ideally we'd want to be in a lower orbit so that we rotate faster. We have a smaller orbital time. Because if I increase this, as you can see, we're not going to meet it any quicker. So this is not going to work. How about we try to go to Rory first? This gives us the advantage of much more easily being able to pick out our encounter. Since we are here, we can very easily, there we go, maneuver. Are you slightly inclined or am I slightly inclined? We can very easily maneuver. There we go. To try and find a reasonable spot. And from that maneuver, we should be more easily able to get to the other maneuver. To be able to get the other pod. Now, this is a bit of a downer. Nothing beats a live for privacy. Oh, God. They chose the bladder. Now that is some good punning right there. So here is the downside. Before we can do this properly, we need to adjust our node. This one is slightly inclined, but how? Oi, move. There we go. I want that node to be 0. So we need to burn for 2 seconds to adjust this. And then it's going to be far easier to make that encounter. This, by the way, I should turn off, shouldn't I? Our magical reaction wheel, which allows us to turn in space without the use of any RCS thrusters. I should turn that off, really. I've been feeling pretty guilty about it. But I don't know a mod that allows us to always turn it off for everything. Otherwise, I'm going to have to manually check every little thing to see if there's a reaction wheel in there, if we need to somehow turn it off. I don't know. I need to figure out a good way. Okay. So, again, keep an eye out on the rendezvous window, because that lists the relative inclination 1.31. We want that as close to 0 as possible. I.e., we want our inclination as compared to Kerbin. So the angle of our orbit to the equator, we want that to be as little different, as equal as we can to the inclination of our target orbit. And right now we are 1.3 degrees off, which, you know, in small orbits doesn't matter a thing. In large orbits, now that matters. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna limit my thrust massively. 1, 2, oh god, oh, hold on, no, darn it. I literally, as I turned this on, the cable of my headset tugged at the joystick and pulled us so far out. Oh god, this is awful. Okay, 0.05 with this rotation, because I didn't have it on stability assist, I had it on prograde, so no wonder it was constantly trying to turn away. Old people's homes and multi-story car parks typically have at least a faint smell of pee. Yeah, but the problem is, we're not talking faint smell of pee here. We're talking, you enter the lift and it's like... And that is not the reaction you want to have when you get into a lift.